Let's go through everything together. All right, let's continue. So we said that you can define life by its features that living and non-living organisms share, and we gave the 7 features. Right? Now let's go in depth and understand what is nutrition. Right? Give me a definition of nutrition.
Nutrition is the way how living and non-living organisms get their food.
Right, taking in of food. Right, this is the taking in of food. Right, in order to make energy. Because energy is essential for life. Understand? Energy. Right? And when you have energy, when energy is made, it provides material.
So you didn't spell energy correct, I think.
Yeah, I see that. Thank you. So when energy is made, it provides material for building up parts in that body. Like humans, when you eat food, it builds up back your immune system and everything. So you're able to continue through life. Right. Now, what happens after you've eaten food? What's the next step? Anyone?
You excrete your food.
Right, but before excretion, there's a process called digestion. Right. So this is where the digestion breaks down the food that is ingested. Okay? So we're going through the process now. So after digestion now, okay? Let me ask you a question now. Right? When you eat food, is it organic or inorganic?
Organic.
Right. And organic means it comes from where? So let's try that. Organic food that we...
environment.
Yes, to some extent, the organic food that we eat comes from
environment.
Living things in the environment. Come from living things
in the environment.
Come from living things and organisms in the environment. Right. So that's organic food. But there's also inorganic food. When you eat that plastic you call sweets, that's right? That's a bit inorganic.
Yeah.
But in regards to plants though, plants mainly take in inorganic food. So it's not a case that I'm talking about just sweets and everything, but with plants, they are the ones that generally use inorganic food to make organic. So we say plants take in inorganic substances such as water and carbon. Right, water and carbon. Because can you eat carbon dioxide by itself?
No.
You die. No, you can't. So in essence, it's inorganic. Plants are the ones that use this water and carbon dioxide to make sugar, which is then organic. All right? Okay, now that we have that out of the way, so those were under nutrition. Let's put it under nutrition. All right, there we go.
It's already under nutrition, I think, yeah.
All right, so can we move on? Everybody got the notes?
Oh, let me write it off.
All right. Let me give you a moment. So the next one we're going to is respiration. Let me just head up quickly. Respiration. No. George, after you drink a Pepsi, what is the first thing your body does?
Belch.
Right. So, in essence, it's doing what? It's releasing what? Energy, right?
Yes.
Right. So, respiration now.
So it's actually gases out of your body, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, to some extent, you're correct where it's gases. But remember, those gases that was inside of your body was doing something that required energy. So as I would say, it involves the release of energy from food. Because when you burp, you're actually ingesting food, and when when you belch, you're actually expulsing energy that was in food. So we say respiration involves the release of energy from food, even if it's unhealthy like Pepsi or Coca-Cola, still food, just not really organic to that extent. Okay, but there's something kind of cool about this, right? Wait, let me just go right there. All right, so let me fix up this notes for you so you can read it more correctly. Here we go. There we go. All right, there we go. So everything here is under one bullet point. Now, respiration doesn't just involve eating, guys. It's kind of cool. It involves sleeping as well. So when you sleep, you respire as well. Give me one example of what you do in your sleep that makes you respire.
How do you respire?
Like, give me one example or one thing that you do in your sleep that can be considered as respiration.
Sir, breathe.
Right, okay, breathing. Sometimes if you're having a real awesome dream, you're sweating, all these things. So when you sleep as well, you respire. But not only sweating and breathing, but when you're but you need energy, right, to keep all the moving body parts working.
Sir, your body stores up energy to use overnight.
Right. All right. So let me ask you a question. If you go to your bed hungry, do you wake up hungry?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Well, all right. It might be a different case for you, but when you wake up, it's not the exact moment as you wake up you feel hungry. Sometimes you feel full. It's only like a couple minutes or so after. But the cool thing that happens is that because your body is working in your sleep, it actually digested, even though it didn't have anything to eat. All right. So that's why people say generally they don't eat before they go to the bed, because you can lose weight while you sleep. Understand?
I never
But
do
sir,
that.
how can you respire your sleep and you're sleeping and not moving?
Right, because read the definition of respiration. Even when you sleep, your body needs energy to keep moving body parts working. So even if you didn't give it energy, the body essentially takes energy from itself, which causes you to lose weight or lose water in your body. That's why you wake up thirsty or you wake up hungry, because your body needed energy to keep the body parts moving in your sleep. Understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. So that was the second one. So let me close it up just to make sure that. So let me give you a moment to write that.
No, sir, I'm on respiration.
All right.
Excuse me, sir, already finished writing that, sir.
Can you repeat?
I already finished writing respiration,
All right.
sir.
So let's go to growth. Let's give George a little moment to catch up. Let's go to growth. Khalil, 2 years
Yes,
ago.
sir, I wrote it.
You already done? All right, good. Now let's go to growth. Khalil, 2 years ago.
The growth is the increase of. So I was gonna say it until I heard hurry up.
No. Say what you were saying.
I want to hear, sir.
We say growth is the increase
So
of.
the definition which I know from my head, growth is the permanent increase of size, weight, or whatever you want to say.
Right.
I would just say size and weight.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. I'm not even gonna change anything to what your definition is. You say growth is the increase of size or weight.
So size and weight,
Oh,
not
my bad. And weight. That's what you said, right? So growth is simply the increase of size and weight, right? But technically, right, not only just your size and weight, but over a period of time. Because it's not just like you grow one moment and you're that forever. You constantly grow throughout your life as a living organism, right?
Okay, so I have a question says, is it true that when someone by the age of 20, they stop growing, sir?
No, they stop growing as the rate was when they were 12, but you always grow. Never get that confused. You might stop growing. Yeah, you might stop growing at the rate you did when you were 12, which means you were going really fast, but at 20, you are still growing, right? But
some people are still growing at the rate of 12 now, like when they're 20 and stuff.
Right, exactly.
It's like hormones or something, I think.
So let's write that. The term growth gets confused, right? Because people think that it is at one age to where you stop. But that is incorrect. That is incorrect. And let's write why. That is incorrect.
Because you still grow even whenever you're at 20 or 30 years old.
Right. But a deeper reason, George, is because the body is constantly
changing,
constantly replacing worn out body parts. So let me ask you a question. Did you know that every minute you have billions of dead cells on your skin? Every minute billions of cells die from your skin. So even if you're like 50 years old, your body is still changing because you still have dead cells currently on your skin that's going off and new cells are being replaced. Right? It's just the rate of dead cells might be slower compared to when you were younger, but you are always growing.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So that was growth. Let's go to reproduction now.
Sorry, you can close it up.
Okay.
About reproduction.
Right. Reproduction.
Can you just open up that number, sir?
All right. Let me open it back up. Growth is the increase of size and weight. The term growth gets confused because people think that is at one age to where you stop. That is incorrect. Here's why. The body is constantly replacing worn out body parts.
Reproduction. What's that shit?
Right. So we're going to
I have many different meanings for reproduction. Like reproduction is the remaking of human bodies or living organisms.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I like that definition. So we're gonna use that definition and merge it towards my definition. So it's reproduction is the what?
Is the creation.
Is the creation. Yeah.
Of living organisms.
Mm-hmm. All right. So let's.
Sorry, either I say living organisms or things.
Right.
Because you have some people who call it living things.
Right, but here's the cool part. Reproduction doesn't just happen to create. Reproduction happens to survive. So we're going to say organisms must reproduce to survive. That's a key part of the reproduction process, right? It is the way, because it is the way living things can produce new individuals like themselves when they succumb. That's a new word. When they succumb to old age or otherwise. It's very important. Can you repeat?
So I think that they said that in one country they pay the people to give birth.
Right. I actually was researching that. The country is called Canada. Right? So Canada, and China are the exact opposite. So Canada pay you to have children. China,
why, sir?
Because they're. No, I'm saying that Canada, because they're underpopulated, right? They require a new generation.
Canada is a very big country.
All right, listen. So Canada have a lot of land space, but in terms of people to inhabit that land space, it is very little, right? So Canada comes up with a little plan to say the more children you have to carry the next generation, the better the economy will be, right? Because if you have a little amount of people in your country, your economy cannot thrive. But that is the exact opposite of China. China restricts you to only have one children per household, and sometimes not even one. To only have one child per household.
But if you try to reproduce another child, so you go to Respiration.
That child will I'm not sure the exact process what will happen, but you can look it up. It's kind of interesting to find out. So you can look it up in your spare time, find out what Canada does and China does in your spare time to understand reproduction. But
I don't understand, so you're saying why does China restrict you to only have one child per house?
all right, let me tell you, China has 1.4 billion people.
And Canada has like one billion, I think.
Even less, no. Canada has way less than that. But China has 1.4 billion people in a land space that doesn't support that amount of people. Right?
I'm gonna find it.
Right. So you can find it after, but let's quickly go back to reproduction. There's another aspect to reproduction that we need to talk about, which is embryo. So embryo.
And so you're supposed to have, so it's not supposed to be also, it's supposed to be one child, sir.
Sir, I found it, sir.
Sir?
Yeah?
Sir, is that not Australia, sir, sorry. It was telling me I put in Canada, but Canada.
Right. Well,
so the population is 37.59 million.
So you see how Canada is the same size of China in terms of land space, but Canada only have 30 something million people. So you see how underpopulated it is?
I think that something is wrong, of course, because it says household and not child, sir.
Oh, my bad. Thank you, Khalil. Only have one per household. Only have one child per household. My bad. There we go. Okay, but there's something before a child even gets into the world, you need to understand that child has to be in something called an embryo. Anyone know what that is?
Embryo or something? I'm going to look it up on Google.
Well, no, I am Google right now. You don't have to look it up. Let me tell you. So, Khalil, when you were born, right, you are made from two things. A cell from your
sperm cell
and
and
an egg cell, right? So
And
embryo,
when they go together, they make up fertiles.
right? So let's write that. This is the fusion of a sperm cell and an egg cell to make an offspring. Okay?
So this is the fusion.
All right. Now the act of doing this is called sexual reproduction. The act of fusing two cells, the act of fusing the sperm cell and the egg cell is called sexual reproduction. There we go. Okay. Now, have you guys ever heard of the what was the name of the animal? I think it's called a shrimp or seahorse. Right. There's an animal called seahorse.
Seahorse.
Right.
Sir, the seahorse gives birth.
Right. But the reproduction process for a seahorse is different compared to a normal reproduction process. So there's not just sexual reproduction, there's something called asexual reproduction. So asexual reproduction is different from sexual reproduction. Let's explain why. All right, let's hear it. Asexual reproduction.
Sir, asexual reproduction is a singular reproduction. It means that it's made between one person.
Right.
Not like sexual reproduction, which is
two things. Right, exactly. Right. So asexual reproduction occurs without the fusion of two cells. Good job, George. That's a great definition, right? So you can look at it as like this. It's just the budding, right? That's a new word, budding.
I have a question, sir. So, but you were unable to do all of it, sir.
What do you mean?
No, sir. The rest of the topic, sir.
Can you repeat?
Sir.
Uh-huh.
That's just it, but you were unable to do the rest of the topic, sir.
Excretion and irritability?
No, the other ones. Structure of plant and animals. Sir.
Right. So we're gonna quickly go to them as quick as possible. So let's wrap up here real quick. So we're gonna say asexual reproduction occurs with the fusion of two cells, right? We can leave it right there. So it's only one member. Excretion. So let's quickly go through the definition so we can go to the other topics. Excretion now, right? We know what excretion is because we do it every day. So let's just say the removal, right, of waste products
of living organisms
produced by metabolism. That's a key word, metabolism. You know what metabolism is?
metabolism
Right?
is
Metabolism is the process of breaking down food. So if someone say you have a high metabolism, you can break down food easier. But if someone say you have a slow metabolism, you don't break down food easier. So that's how weight comes into play. Because if you cannot break down food faster than someone else, your body tends to retain the weight of that food that you ate. Right? So that's why you see some people having higher metabolism because they can break down the food and remove it from their body. But if you're a bigger sized person, you eat the food, probably eat less, but you're saying, why do I gain weight? It's because you have a slow metabolism. Breaking down of food. Right. Then that takes us into now irritability or sensitivity. Right? Just simply organisms can detect change in their surroundings. Irritability is the ability to detect these. Detect, right? And react. And react to changes outside of the body. Simple. Now, movement. Wait, there's two words under here that we need to really talk about. Stimuli. So stimuli, right, is when a reaction happens. So stimuli is when something around you moves. So let's say stimuli cause a reaction. So let's say the lamp dropped, right? Let's cause a reaction or a response. So that's a keyword, stimuli. Let's highlight that. Right? And then response, right, is simply the action that is taken from the stimuli. So if you got stabbed with a pin, your response will be you out crying, but the stimuli was the pin. Understand? All right. So let's go to the final one, movement, right? In order to obtain food and reproduce for survival, organisms have to search, right? This movement is simply called, starts with L. Anyone knows? Right, locomotion. There you go. And that should wrap up everything under
So can you maximize it and go down to 7, sir?
There you go. All right. Now we're gonna quickly now go to
maximize it a little bit, sir.
maximize a little bit more.
Sir.
All right. 7. There you go. That's good. There you go. So we're gonna go to now structures of plants and animals. And, all right, everybody finish?
Also,
All right.
Finish writing, sir.
All right, good. So we're gonna go to now the structure of plant and animal cells. Right. Let's quickly go through it. So, what can you tell me about the structure of plants and animal cells? Anyone?
cell structure of plants and animals.
All right. Well, firstly, you can say that there's a difference. There is a difference between them. So can anyone tell me one difference between two of them?
So that one has a large vacuole and one has a small vacuole.
Okay, that's one. So let's write that. Difference between plants and animal cells. All right. Let me write down the steps you said. So you said one has a what?
One has a large vacuole.
Mm-hmm.
And one has a small vacuole.
All right. Okay.
Yes.
That's good. That's good. So let's write another one. The plant cell, right, have structures called chloroplast, so the plant will have chloroplast, which contains chlorophyll. Let me close up everything here so you guys can see it. One moment. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. All right, let's go. So now we say the plants have something called chloroplast, which contains chlorophyll, right? And so that's a difference. Now,
Sir, your mic is muffled.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right. So let me see what the timer is because I think it's about to end. Oh, we have 6 minutes?
6 minutes.
Okay, good, good. So let's hurry up and continue. All right. Now, the chloroplast, what does the chloroplast do with the chlorophyll that's inside of it? Anyone?
It excretes it, sir. It excretes it. It removes it.
Wait,
Or stores it, I think.
all right.
Stores the chlorophyll.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That's good. But let me ask you now, quickly. When you have chloroplast and chlorophyll, what is the overall objective of the plant using those things? It makes food, correct?
Yes.
And what is it?
Photosynthesis, sir.
Repeat?
That's the process.
It's called photosynthesis, sir.
Right. Okay, good. So that's the product of plant cells to make photosynthesis. So let's look at the difference really now. So animal cells do not have chloroplast. Do not have chloroplast. Right? It also has a living outer cell.
So is that for plant or
No,
animal?
it's underneath animal cells. Look closely. Animal cells. There we go. Animal cells do not have chloroplast. It also has a living outer cell membrane, right? So let me put the heading for plant cell. So plant cell. So give me one moment. Let me fix this up. Plant cell. There we go. There we go. There we go.
So are you gonna add anything else under plant cell?
Right, yeah. I'm gonna add something else right now. There we go. Okay, let me close up there. One moment. All right, there we go. Okay, so let's add one more thing on a plant cell. So we just said that animal cells has a living outer cell. Plant cells have a dead outer cell. So plant cells have dead cellulose cell walls. Okay? So it's the opposite of an animal cell, which has a living one. Plant cells have dead cell walls. My bad? Okay? Now, after we've talked about the two differences right there, we have one more. As George said, animal cells have animal cells have small vacuoles, right? And plant cells have right? So those are the three differences that plant and animal cells have. Right? When you have those, just let me know so we can continue.
The time is going to end.
What time is it now? It shouldn't end so quickly. Let me see. 3 minutes. Okay. Oh, 3 minutes. Okay. So when the 3 minutes up, we're just gonna rejoin. But let's take advantage of that 3 minutes and say, well, after you've talked about the animal and plant cell, what is the function of the plant cell and the animal cell? Anyone?
The plant cell has a function which takes the plants.
What is the function? Let's try that. What is the function of?
Cell membrane cell.
You're close on it. So you're saying this, yeah?
So the cell wall prevents the cells from bursting when they become full of water.
The cell wall prevents. The cell wall prevents.
Prevents the cells from bursting when they become full of water, sir.
Prevents the cell from being full. Well, we can just say that, right? So that's a function of a part of the plant cell. So let's put that in highlight for the plant cell wall. Let me give another one, right? There's something called protoplasm. Have you ever heard of that word? Protoplasm. Yeah, right there, protoplasm, right? This has two parts, right? The cytoplasm, which you should know, cytoplasm and the nucleus. Now let's look at what these do. So the cytoplasm essentially and the nucleus is very important for the plant cell. But when we rejoin, I'm gonna write the definition quickly. So let's rejoin, guys.
I didn't get to write.
Okay.
Like the same quantity you put for animal cell.
All right, let me go back on it quickly and then write it off and then we'll rejoin.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so let's rejoin, guys. Cameron, I just see that you're in the class. Yeah, when we rejoin, I'll ask you some questions about where you are in terms of your studying. Okay.
I'm gonna end the meeting now.
Okay. So let's